Zero-knowledge proofs, ZK proofs, are an emerging success story for cryptography and blockchain with multiple use cases, including improved transaction privacy and scalability. ZK technology allows two parties to agree that a claim is true without any details of claim being revealed or discussed, hence the use of the term zero-knowledge. There are potential drawbacks to ZK proofs, however. In November 2023, cybersecurity firm Chainlight publicized the discovery of a soundness bug and the implementation of ZK Sync era mainnet. The exploit of that bug could have resulted in the loss of $1.9 billion in funds. And will you do is it ever keeping me your chain light? Becker said that a major part of the trouble with ZK technology is simply how new it is. I think everyone knows that ZK technology is relatively new, but not many understand exactly how new it is, said Becker. I would say even just a few years ago, most people thought that something like a ZK EVM, Ethereum virtual machine, was at least a decade away. But we ended up getting it within just 2 or 3 years. 2-3 years. And the huge advances in ZK proof technology are a huge part of what makes it risky. As Becker explained, the development of ZK proofs was highly decentralized, which sped up the process considerably, but also created some additional complications the industry is now grappling with. So it's very new, and the developer tools are still in their infancy, and all of the projects have their own tech stacks that they're each building on independently. So there's a lack of community-wide developer-friendly tools for ZK, and that increases the likelihood of vulnerabilities being introduced. While issues with ZK proofs have been discovered in the past and continue to be identified by the projects themselves or security firms such as Chainlight, actual examples of exploits remain very low. And for this reason, the potential for complacency is real. Okay, so Becker understands this tendency all too well. Some people will challenge the idea that ZK is especially risky. They'll point to the fact that no major ZK protocols have been exploited yet. But I think there's this fundamentally misunderstands the reason for that. He said, Becker said that these training wheels are not something that can be relied upon in perpetuity because they compromise a protocol and its ambitions in other ways. These security layers are necessarily short-term, temporary solutions while the technology is being secured and de-risked. That's because they fundamentally sacrifice some very important properties that these networks want to have in the long run, such as decentralization and other technological capabilities, he said. And recent Visa and MasterCard, a boon for wallet holders, a threat to crypto exchanges. And one friction point Becker pointed to is execution delays built into ZK-proof transactions. These delays allow networks time before they finalize commands, giving them time to spot erroneous transactions. Of course, this compounds any potential speed or scalability benefits from using ZK proofs. Eventually, the limitations caused by training wheels will mean that they are necessarily cast aside. The trick will be in doing so only when ZK proofs have matured enough to do so without exposing the protocols themselves. And one of the biggest tasks of examining blockchain technology is predicting where the industry will move next. But whatever follows, Becker sees a bright future for ZK technology. Once the wrinkles are ironed out, it's just going to be a matter of time before the technology matures and the security around it is a little more stable, Becker said. As for a timetable, Becker said that that's difficult to predict owing to the fact that the rapid development of ZK proofs has outpaced expectations in the past. It's hard to say because the technology is still evolving. Although we have ZK rollups and EVMs today, the underlying proof systems are still changing and being iterated on and improving. The networks are being upgraded as a result. It's hard to say exactly when everything
is going to stabilize and allow all of these tools to mature, he stated.
And ultimately, it may be the better part of a decade before the technology can be considered mature. This will mean security experts and developers alike will need to remain on increased alert for some time to come. Aleph0, a layer 1 solution for decentralized apps, incorporates ZK-proof technology in its tech stack. As such, the company is aware of the challenges that ZK-proofs introduce. Matthew Niemerd, co-founder and president of Aleph0, told CryptoMoon, zero-knowledge proofs show immense promise, but the technology remains in its early stages. Like with any new innovation, challenges exist around identifying vulnerabilities in areas like circuit design and random number generation and cryptographic implementations. The co-founder added that even the most minor errors often lead to significant difficulties. And we see an anonymity that can produce the fact that can be preceded. That's a strong system to stopping whether they're experts, whether the fact is the code is the number of what's written by humans who are fallible, even if the theoretical underpinnings of the mathematics are provably correct. Particularly in an open source paradigm, your problem can quickly become everyone's problem. Niemerd noted that one of the earliest notable cases of ZK-proof vulnerability came from the well-known privacy coin Zcash. In March 2018, Zcash discovered an issue with its code that would allow a hacker to counterfeit its native token. In October 2018, Zcash patched the vulnerability with its sapling network upgrade. In total, the counterfeiting vulnerability was an ever-present part of the Zcash network for 2 whole years. It was never exploited. And really one thing, when you prove your part, when you're proving your card or inner safe, and then, you know, that new part that you get in a log, we believe that no one else was aware of the vulnerability and that no counterfeiting occurred, Zcash said in a statement in February 2019. Discovery of the vulnerability would have required a high level of technical and cryptographic sophistication that very few people possess. The fear factor from the blockchain industry lies in what other vulnerabilities are out there, still undiscovered. At some point, as knowledge and understanding of ZK-proof technology improves, more of these issues will be discovered. And the question is, who will discover them first? The developers themselves or the hackers?